Welcome to our Back to School month on the GMB YouTube channel. Now, usually what we would do is we would do our Back to School months on the original channel, but we're gonna switch it up to the GMB YouTube channel because there's a lot of issues we talked about throughout the 6 years of this broadcast. So this is the 6th year of doing our Back to School month. Now, for those who have been on a rock, this Back to School month is going to help out the parents and the kids understand what you need to do to for parents. Basically, it's mostly for parents to help out with every simple situation, like bullying, truancy, just name two. And it's mostly for kids who just want to simply say, I don't want to go to school, I want extra days off summer, I want to stay in bed, I don't want to get up early, so this and this. That's what this whole Back to School month is all about. This whole Back to School month is going to be all about issues that we deal with in school. Mostly about that. But what I want to talk to you about is the number one thing. That is bullying. Every day. We talk about it for 6 years of this broadcast. We focused in on a lot of bullying. One latest case we focused on was Adriana Kirch. Now, for those who don't remember Adriana Kirch, she committed suicide after a horrific video was posted of her being bullied. Now, the school did not know about this until 2 days after. That sparked an outrage controversy, especially for me. Because in all my 6 years in this broadcast, I was never so much angry until I saw this story. It's like common sense to tell you, hey, you don't need to be telling, you shouldn't be telling people this 2 days after. If a child is being bullied, let them know right away. Letters, emails, phone calls home. Don't notify them 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. Let them know right away. Also, prevent this from happening again. If you ask the schools, do y'all have a bullying problem? They may say straight up in your face, we don't have a bullying problem. You may be thinking, should I believe them? Probably not. But here's what you need to do. Here are the 5 to 6 steps what you need to do as parents to make sure this doesn't happen again. First, let's go to a 6-step thing. First, listen to your child. If your child comes to you and says, here's a role play situation. Hey, little Timmy, how was school today? How awful. What's wrong, Timmy? I've been bullied. Who's been picking on you? Little Johnny. Now stop. Let's pause this right here. You see, go to your child's eye level and let them know and ask them who's been bullying you. Like little Timmy said. Little Timmy's been bullied by little Johnny. That's one step. The other step is to ask them, so little Timmy, did you tell your teacher? Yes, I did. And what did she say to you? She was mean to me and said, toughen up. And stop, pause right there. That's to where the teacher told me to toughen up, being mean to me. What the teacher should have done was intervene and said, hey, stop this right now. The person the person who bullied that person should be disciplined, written up. Also, another thing. If you feel like the teacher's not doing anything, the third step for kids would be to report this to the school principal. That's the other step. And they'll tell you what you need to do. Usually it's the principal or the assistant principal will help out in dealing with this. The punishment will be like detention, school suspension, whatever. Let the principal do what they're doing because they know what to do. Also, if you feel like the school's not doing anything, talk to your parents. For parents, it's a 4-step process. The first step is talk to your child. The second step is, because let me tell you this, many people just don't even know. They just probably go to the teacher. The teacher doesn't know anything, so they just walk away. No. The second step would be after you talk to the teacher, go straight to the principal. Because there's always 2 sides to every story. Just say, hi, my name is Tammy, little Timmy's mom. My son came in here a week ago, explained he was being bullied, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I was wondering if we could schedule a meeting. Mr. Potts would say, sure, Miss Tammy, let's come in, let's schedule a meeting. Schedule a meeting is like, so what's going on? Well, make sure you bring the child with you at these meetings. And they say, well, we have a situation here. We'll work something out. They work something out. Okay, great. But they feel like they're not working anything out. That's where you contact the superintendent. Schedule me the superintendent, let them know what's going on. Also, if the superintendent doesn't do anything, contact the local school board. If the school doesn't do anything, that's where the last step process is. Hire an attorney and sue the school. Also threaten, before all that, threaten them and say, if this does not get fixed, I'm taking you to court. That's it. Those are the steps you can take to prevent this from happening again. There's a lot of people that sue school districts, and they've won, and parents have won. Depending on which. Okay. Coming up next, an issue we focused in on throughout the 6 years on this broadcast, truancy. In New Zealand, there was a lot of truancy happening in that country. That's still to come. But well, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to prevent truancy from happening again. Because we've seen a lot of stuff about truancy that's happened. And some believe that school truancy could be a part of juvenile crime problem. Not in Texas, but in another state. Stay with us. If you just joined us, this is our back to school on the GMB YouTube channel. 1 second here. If you just joined us, this is our back to school month on the GMB YouTube channel. Now, for those who joined us, it's usually we do this on the original channel. But we're stepping up. We're going backwards here because we've dealt with a lot of issues throughout the years on the original channel. And one of those things has to be the fact about truancy. Now, we focused on a lot of truancy throughout the years. I've also told you about the six causes of truancy. The 6 causes of truancy. What you need to stop this.
The WREG investigators are working to get answers.
Because truancy is also a measure that can also prevent juvenile delinquency. And studies have shown a lot that juvenile delinquency often begins with kids cutting class. And every school may have a program. Which goals are this? To get kids going to school and to prevent this from happening again. In this case right here, what you're about to see, a lot of times it's just as simple as crime. Take a look.
Are you
WREG investigators are working to get answers. Thousands of children not going to school, and juvenile crime is rising at an alarming rate. So is there a connection? Well, one crime victim thinks so, and he is furious with parents.
It's a heated debate being hashed out right now. WREG investigator Jessica Gerber presses for answers.
This is a big hassle, that's all.
A step outside,
Nothing more, nothing less.
and Dorian Berry's day quickly changed.
Come outside to glass on the ground and no car.
His Kia he relies on for work wasn't in this Hickory Hill carport that Monday morning in January.
Yeah, I knew what we were looking at that point.
And it wasn't good.
Called the police, went through the formalities. They came out quickly.
Hours later, someone spotted Barry's Kia in Whitehaven. They told police 4 kids ditched it at an intersection and started casually walking down the street. Officers caught up to them and took all 4 into custody, a 12, 13, 14, and 15-year-old. None of them old enough to drive.
It seemed like they gave chase, they hit something.
Barry showed us how his car was returned. Pretty banged up. Dents, scrapes, the back window busted. He's got one question.
Come on now, where are your parents? 2, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, Sunday night, I know what my child is, you know? So it's like, how can you be out here causing all this havoc at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? You're not accountable for being somewhere?
Records we uncovered show at least 3 of the juveniles have a lengthy record, accused of crimes like burglary, unlawful possession of a weapon, and vehicle theft. At times, they should have been at home asleep or in school.
The kids aren't being held accountable. The parents aren't being held accountable.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland says he's fed up. Last year, the Memphis Shelby Crime Commission reported more than 500 juveniles were arrested for a serious offense, an increase from 2021. Strickland says children skipping school is part of the problem.
And there's little intervention, and the court has to start detaining them.
Memphis Shelby County Schools says there are 105,000 students enrolled, and 1 out of 4 are chronically absent, meaning they've missed 10% of school. If 5 or more of those absences are unexcused, they're truant. MSCS told us to submit an open records request for that number. We're waiting to hear back. It's information the Memphis City Council also wants to see. What are you trying to get to the bottom?
Well, we have criminalization. We're always talking about carjacking. We're talking about teenagers stealing cars in the community. So they should be in school. So we're trying to find out where's all these kids at.
MSCS recently appeared before the council to answer their questions, learning some children are missing class due to health, bullying, poor academic performance, or poverty. Some students are homeless or travel from home to home. They say there are 10 truancy specialists covering the entire district.
We're doing everything we can to make sure these students are in school.
But some council members are convinced more can be done.
Who's responsible for securing the school so that people are not bumping outside doors and skipping class once their parents think that they are in school?
Basically, our attendance and department monitors that.
The district office says it's contacted when a student is missing, and from there they contact the parent. As a last resort, they visit the student's home, sometimes calling on deputies or police to help. MPD Chief C.J. Davis says they will respond to calls from the district when a student is missing, but believes more resources need to be devoted to truancy.
There really hasn't been the kind of conversation to really close some of the gaps.
Tennessee law requires children ages 6 through 17 attend school, and the school district must try to enforce attendance. MSCS says they'll assess the students' and families' needs and connect them to the right support and services. But if that doesn't work, they can turn to Shelby County Juvenile Court, which reports 95 students were referred for truancy so far this school year. You can see that's way up compared to the 11 referred during the pandemic. Parents with children 14 years or younger can also get in trouble for educational neglect, a Class C misdemeanor. 205 parents were charged this school year, again drastically up since the pandemic. Juvenile court wouldn't agree to an interview, only stating they've had conversations with the mayor's office. No one with the mayor's office or MSCS agreed to an interview either. MSCS officials did say, though, that chronic absenteeism is an issue across the state and country.
It's just getting to a point now where, like, us as parents, we have to, like, crack down.
As for Barry, he's trying to get to the bottom of what happened to his car and the kids who took it. Our investigation shows at least one of them has been on the district's list for truancy, starting in kindergarten.
It's a reflection of the parents as well. The kids are going to be kids and do what they do, but, I mean, come on.
Jessica Gerber, WRG News Channel 3.
Asking parents to step up. Well, the council says its truancy discussions aren't over, but it doesn't look like it's on tomorrow's agenda. However, the council is expected to address youth crime. We will let you know what happens.
And I'll let you know what happens with our Common Sense Alert. Common Sense Alert. You, as a parent, need to make sure that your child goes to school every day. Every day. Unless there's a medical reason or medical absence that keeps your child out of school, or an approved absence by the school district. Now, we talked about excused versus unexcused. Excused absence are like I went to my doctor's office. That's an excused absence. Unexcused are like I had to go babysit. I was playing video games. I was playing basketball. I was hanging out with my friends. That's unexcused. And a lot of kids have ranked up unexcused absences during their time. Excused absences means you don't go to truancy court. Unexcused, this is the way the process works. If the child is absent, they get a recorded phone message from the school saying the child's absent, send us a note, so-and-so. They keep on doing this. If it continues on after 4 unexcused absences or tardies, the school has to present a parent conference, whereas they'll know what's going on and what will happen if they continue. What will continue. But if it continues on and on, then the school will go to the juvenile court system and go through the process of truancy court. And if the state says there's nothing else going to put a petition to be filed, I mean, you'll receive a letter sending you to truancy court if it continues on. Then there you'll be in front of a judge. You and your parents will be in front of a judge, and they'll start asking the child, and representatives from the school will be there. So that's common sense. Parents, you need to start making sure your child goes to school every day. Every single day. We don't want juveniles, we don't want to see juveniles ending up in juvie. Juvenile delinquency always starts with kids cutting class. That's how it always starts. When we come back, we're going to hear from 2 truancy judges about this. One from Texas and one from Orange County. Stay with us. For those who like a refresher course on the constituency, let me give you a refresher course. Number 1 is always bullying. The second cause is peer pressure. 3 and 4 are drugs and alcohol. 5 is health problems. And the 6th cause of this is kids working. Kids working to help their parents have the bill / homelessness. That's all 6 causes. That's the claim, because really, that makes all the 6 causes. Now, during our truancy moments, we focused on parents who are arrested for truancy by watching news clips about this without spreading the common sense. That's all right before I started the common sense thing. Now, you might be asking, what's with the sound alarm? The beep, 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 beep. That's the common sense alert. That's to where I put common sense in your brain. You look at this and say to yourself, I could really learn a lesson from him. That's our next case here, which we'll get to the we will get to the parents being arrested in just a minute. But let's focus in on those 2 truancy judges I talked about before the break. Let's start off first with John Payne.
Principal knows the question.
Because truancy judges have been a part of the juvenile court system. Take a look.
Good afternoon. My name is John Payton, and I am a Justice of the Peace here in Precinct 3, Place 2. If you are in the Allen Independent School District, then this video was made so that you could have a better understanding of what the new laws are here in the state of Texas in regards to parent contributing and now the new law called truant conduct. Today we are going to talk about the elimination of failure to attend school as a Class C misdemeanor charge for students not attending school, and the replacement with Section 65, Title III of the Family Code, which is now being called truant conduct. It's been an interesting response that I've received from students when they tell me that they have received their information via text from their friends or on social media in regards to what's gone on with truancy. I've had answers that have been as crazy as there is no more requirement for students to attend school here in Texas, to now you can put us in jail for 2 or 3 years, to all of our cases have to be expunged and we can never be filed on for truancy again, but yet we're required to go to school and the school has to do more. So today my plan is to try and help shed some light on what the new law actually says and give you my interpretation of Section 65, Title III of the Family Code. This is all going to be under House Bill 2398. The idea was to eliminate a criminal charge against the child, never to get away from the fact that a child is still required to be in school in the state of Texas. Sadly, and most interestingly, a lot of that is driven by funding. If the federal level doesn't have a requirement for a state to require their children to go to school, then the federal U.S. Department of Education won't fund the state of Texas's Department of Education. And so that requirement is still going to be in place so that the state can receive funding from the federal government to help fund education in the state of Texas. With that being said, failure to attend school charge did go away. In fact, as of September 1st, 2015, all documents, all case files, everything that ever existed in regards to a failure to attend school case has been and is being expunged from the child's record. Now, moving forward from September 1st of 2015, all the new charges will be called truant conduct. Truant conduct is defined as a child engaging in truant conduct is required to attend school under Section 25.085 of the Education Code and fails to attend school on 10 or more days or parts of days within a 6-month period in the same school year. Truant conduct may be prosecuted only as a civil case in truancy court. Now, interestingly enough, this is still a charge. The allegation is truant conduct. The charge is truant conduct. You will not be entering a plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest. You will now, if the prosecutor, the state prosecutor that prosecutes criminal cases, finds that the evidence that they have been given by the school district is sufficient, shall file a petition creating the allegations against you called truant conduct. When that petition is filed, that's when the entire process of the adjudication hearing begins. Prior to the adjudication hearing, the school district must enter into truancy prevention measures. Now, the law doesn't say that they have to enter truancy prevention measures if you're going to be uncooperative or if you're not going to show up for your meetings or your hearings. They have to make a good faith effort to make sure that they have tried to implement truancy prevention measures to prevent you from having to come to truancy court, which, by the way, is something that I have preached for 25 years of being on the bench. That's why we provide videos like this, educational videos, to hopefully educate and inform so that you'll make good decisions and not find yourself going into a courtroom. However, under the truancy prevention measures, these are measures that are now required on student cases. As a truancy prevention measure, under subsection A school district shall take one or more of the following actions. The majority of the school districts that I have spoken to in Collin County, and really a part of our Collin County truancy uniform policy, most school districts are electing to choose option 1. Number 1, impose a behavior improvement plan on the student that must be signed by an employee of the school that the school district has made a good faith effort to have signed by the student and the student's parent or guardian. That includes a specific description of the behavior that is required or prohibited for the student, the period for which the plan will be effective, not to exceed 45 school days after the date the contract becomes effective. And again, almost all of the school districts that I'm aware of and our Collin County Uniform Truancy Policy Committee has decided that they wish to use and elect to use the first option. So be prepared to have to come into a meeting and sign a VIP, or what I've explained to students and parents, what used to formerly be called an attendance improvement contract, which fortunately all of you who are students in Collin County have probably come across, because most of the school districts here in Collin County have used attendance contracts to help you improve your attendance and hopefully not lose credit in your classes. Don't confuse the 90% rule, where you're required to be in school 90% of the time, with truant conduct. They are not one and the same. If you make your unexcused absences or excused absences up, that is with the 90% rule granting you credit back for your classes. However, if you make up your unexcused absences or parts of days, it doesn't mean that you still haven't violated the law and could be filed on for truant conduct. It just means that you've received your credit back, especially for secondary students. So the two are mutually exclusive, although they do have a tendency to bleed over to one another. Furthermore, the age has changed. A lot of students have come in and said, well, we can drop out of school now at 17. I don't have to go to school anymore, and I'm not getting my GED. I've actually had students tell me that here in court. However, that is not the case. You are now required to go to school till your 19th birthday. If you are filed on and you are under court order during the duration of your 19th birthday, the court order doesn't expire because you've turned 19. You will be required under the remedial order to continue to attend school through your 19th birthday. And if you've not turned 19 before the school year starts, you will be required to attend school and begin the school year. And so those rules have changed and bumped up the age of requirement to attend school one additional year. Furthermore, now, once a case is referred to the truancy court, it is sent over to the prosecutor. The prosecutor in Collin County will review it within 7 days. If there is a holiday, or if there are other days where there are ice days or weather days, that may be extended by 2 to 3 days. However, under the Collin County Uniform Truancy Policy that we've already discussed in Collin County, every 7 days, a county or city prosecutor will review the petition or the referral made by the school district to the court. Once it's referred and looked at by the state will send it back to the court, approving it or not approving it. If the state says the petition doesn't have the required elements, then the state will dismiss it and nothing will go forward. The school district will continue its process. However, if the state says, yes, there's enough elements here to prove the petition to be filed, then they file the petition. You will receive either a certified mail return receipt requested letter summoning you to court, or you will be served by a deputy with a paper at your home place of employment, or really, it doesn't say that you can't be served at school, if that's where they can find you and finally get you served. I can tell you that from a county standpoint, sending out certified mail return receipt requested is not profitable, and I don't mean profitable from making money, but it takes away from the taxpayers' money. And so therefore we're going to more than likely have all of ours served by a deputy. So the deputy will go to your home, knock on your door, serve both you, the student now, and the parent, and any other person that may be contributing to your lack of school attendance. Under the new truant conduct law, they have added a section that if there is a determination that somebody else is contributing to your truant conduct, that person can now be brought into the court and placed under court order as well, and be served. Let me give you an example, because this is the most common. Students turn 17. For whatever reason, police departments have told them that they can move out of their home, that they're grown, they're adults now. That is not the case. Both under Acton, which is a Supreme Court case from 1995, and under state law, a student doesn't become an adult or the age of majority until they turn 18 years of age. So if you leave your home at 17, a parent has a duty under section 151.001 of the Family Code to go out and retrieve you and bring you home. Feel free to review that online at www.tx.gov and look up state statutes, and you can find that statute there. Because I know students like to go and find their own proof. They're great researchers. So go out, find that so you understand what the law says. So at 17, you move out of your home and move in with a boyfriend or a girlfriend and their family. If you do not have permission from your parents to do that, then you are violating the law. That person, if you have truant conduct, can then be brought into court and also be placed under a court order. So do understand that you are now implicating other people in this process if you have truant conduct, and they can be placed under court order as well. That is one of the big changes to the law. So, we've gotten you served, the referral's been made, you show up to court. Once you show up to court, there will be a waiver of rights that will be read to you. You will be explained your charge in great detail. You will be explained your appeal rights in great detail. And then you will be asked if you wish to answer to the petition true or not true. If you answer to the petition true, then we will go forward and issue a remedial court order. For the most part, Article 45054, which was the old law for failure to attend school, and all the requirements that come with it, are folded into Title III, Section 65 of the Family Code. The court can still order community service. The court can order you are required to attend school. The court can order you are required to attend tutorials. The court can order that your driver's license be suspended. The court can order counseling. The court can order classes. The court can order treatment, whether it be inpatient, outpatient drug treatment. So all of those things have not changed, and the remedial order can still be put into place as the old order did. Then there becomes the question, well, I don't want to do anything you tell me to do. And that, of course, is clearly up to the student. At that point, we can hold an enforcement hearing, we can hold a modification hearing, which if you've been in court with me before, you know those are called status hearings. And then at those hearings, if we determine that your behavior is contemptuous, we can hold you in contempt and fine you. At that point in time, also modify your court order for other conditions to help promote good attendance. If you continue to violate your remedial order, at another hearing you can be held in contempt of court again. If you get held in contempt of court a second time or a third time, you will be referred to the Juvenile Probation Department, where the Juvenile Probation Officer can do one of several things. One, institute new conditions and then pass you back to the court. Two, refer you to the district court in Collin County, where you will then go in front of the juvenile judge. At that point in time, there will be an attorney appointed for you. Also at that point in time, the district judge will notify you that in fact you could be looking at a possibility of incarceration. And that means jail. At the level of the district juvenile court judge, it isn't just a weekend possibility. The juvenile district court judge at the hearing, in fact, must tell you what it is that they can or cannot do if you do not act accordingly and follow your court order. If you get referred to the district juvenile court, these are the things that can happen. The juvenile court finds that the child engaged in conduct that constitutes contempt of the order issued by the truancy court or direct contempt of court. The juvenile court shall enter an order requiring the child to comply with the truancy court order. Number two, forward a copy of the order to the truancy court within 5 days and admonish the child orally and in writing of the consequences of subsequent referrals to the juvenile court, including a possible charge of delinquent conduct for contempt of the truancy court's order or direct contempt of court, and a detention hearing. A detention hearing means that you could be looking at going to the juvenile jail. If you end up in the juvenile jail, the district court judge will inform you that that could end up in a sentence for up to 1 year. And so really, the advice I would give you as a student would be to A, not have poor attendance, make good decisions, reach out to your crisis counselor, to your house principal, your sub-school principal, your assistant principal, reach out to your counselor at your school if you are having difficulties that is preventing you from being able to go to school, so that they can assist you in trying to get past those things and get into a better rhythm with your attendance. Furthermore, the court will explain to you that you have a right to a jury trial. That's part of your waiver of rights. And then the court will also explain to you your right to not have to say anything in your case that could possibly put you in a bad spot, and allow you to address all the witnesses that are saying that you have done these acts of truant conduct. So those are some of the things that the new law has done. However, what you have found is that the new law did not remove the requirement to attend school. It did not take away the fact that you can be placed under a court's order and be required to do all of the things that would help you be a better student and attend school on a regular basis. I recommend that if you have any questions, again, go to the website for the state of Texas at www.tx.gov, type in Texas statutes, look up section 65 of the Family Code under Title III. You want to start on page 30 of the bill, because that's where the bill runs, and that's where it all begins for you. If the court finds that you are not being represented properly, the court will hire for you a guardian ad litem and charge that off to your parents. Well, where that person will advise your parents how to parent you. If the court feels that you're not being represented properly, the court can also hire you an attorney and charge that off to your family as well. The idea that you don't have to do community service anymore is not true. The court can now order that you and your parent do community service as well, up to 50 hours. So these are the things that have changed, and these are now the requirements under the new law called truant conduct. So I do recommend that if you get to 3 unexcused absences in a 4-week period of time, and you have to sit down and go over the BIP with your school, please adhere to those recommendations so that you don't hit 10 unexcused absences or parts of days in a 6-month period of time.
So there's some common sense right there. However, what you need to understand here is this. You have to go to school every day by law. That's the whole thing. So that's basically common sense filled out for you. Coming up next, some parents who are arrested for truancy. And also kids. Stay with us. Whenever we talk about truancy, we talk about parents who were arrested for truancy. In most states, they have strict laws which say if the kids don't go to school, the parents go to jail. Iowa is very strict about that. Texas, back in 2003, had the same thing. But the kids had to go to juvie. Meet one mother who signed a consent agreement years ago, but they ended up in jail. Here's Alexander Stone.
Sherry Holmes' kids are up bright and early, headed off to school. But it's the days her youngest kids haven't gone to class that got their mom in trouble.
Nobody cares more about my kids' education than me. And for them to tell me that I'm not doing my job as a mother.
Holmes has been arrested at least 3 times because the Council Bluffs Community School District says her twins have missed too many days of school.
They just happen to get sick often.
Holmes' twins were born premature. And even now in middle school, she says they are prone to getting sick. So why jail for their mom?
Each school district in the state of Iowa is responsible for setting their own guidelines as to what is considered a truant child.
In April 2011, the Council Bluffs Community School District referred Holmes to the Potawatomi County Attorney over her children's absences. She signed what's called a mediation agreement.
Basically, I had to sign the contract, or my other option was 30 days in jail. So I just signed the contract.
And under the terms of that contract, the county issued an arrest warrant for Holmes after her 2 youngest missed a combined 31 days during the next school year. Last spring, another arrest. This after the two children missed a combined 7 days.
They're taking my parenting ability away by telling me what I have to and have to not do.
Holmes thought the challenges were over. Last August, a judge threw out the charges that led to her most recent arrest. The ruling called the mediation agreement unenforceable, but the county attorney's office says the agreement is still in place.
They're never really willing just to close that door completely.
Assistant County Attorney Don Landon says the judge's ruling applies only to Holmes' arrest last spring and not the agreement she signed back in 2011. The Council Bluffs Community School District declined an interview but says it believes the agreement remains valid. No one we spoke with outside the district seems to have an idea of how these agreements should be enforced. The Iowa Department of Education doesn't monitor them and has no record of how many exist. All that leaves parents like Sherry Holmes wondering whether she'll have to worry about jail the next time her kids are sick.
I'm just fed up with the whole thing because it's just not I'm not on the contract anymore. I have a court order that says I'm not on the contract.
Reporting in Council Bluffs, Alexandra, Watch 7.
Holmes' lawyer says their next step would have to be suing the school district.
The Potawatomi County Attorney's Office says it received 134 referrals from the school district in 2014.
That's the only case we can find where the charges have dropped. But in some cases, in Texas, some people don't understand. Take a look at this case from 10 months ago. From a county attorney who did not know about the law. Her name is Jennifer. She was the county attorney in Texas, who made me judge. But she did not know about what the changes that happened back in 2015. So she stuck with what happened in 2003. Take a look.
She is the Karnes County attorney and will soon be district judge for a big portion of South Texas.
But multiple families and employees of the local school district say Jennifer Dillingham crossed way over the line while trying to track down children who were not at school.
If she says something, she's up here, I'm down here. I don't really have too much over her.
KSAT investigates the parent complaints as our Dylan Collier uncovers records showing her meddling in school district affairs.
This message today is for the parents of the school-aged children.
In August 2020, with the nation still firmly in the grips of the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, Karnes County Attorney Jennifer Dillingham went on Facebook and issued a stern warning to students and their parents.
So it is my promise to you, Karnes County, that your child and I will be seeing each other if you are not enrolled in school and actively engaging. I will prosecute these cases and I will make sure that we get on the right track.
Dillingham, who is now judge-elect for the 5-county 81st Judicial District, appeared to try and make good on her promise to tackle truancy. When weeks later, along with her assistant and the junior high principal, she showed up at students' homes and in at least 2 cases, according to state investigative files, actually went inside without a warrant while no parents were present. Sisters Leticia Hernandez and Maria Villanueva have homes on the same piece of land, and each reported Dillingham for possible official oppression.
My mother called me panicking because she was like, somebody's entering your home. There's these 3 individuals.
He wakes up to somebody, hey, wake up, screaming at him to wake up. He sees a lady in front of him.
So why would a county attorney ever go into somebody's home looking for a child? A criminal justice expert we interviewed at St. Edward's University called Dillingham's behavior problematic.
I'm sort of flabbergasted at her response to students missing school. Now, I would not even call it truancy. Everybody has moved away from a criminal justice response to truancy.
Dr. Karsten Andreessen points out that Dillingham's crusade to combat truancy came as most prosecutors have moved the other direction. In 2015, the Texas legislature took massive steps to decriminalize truancy, the act of repeatedly missing school without a justified reason. The law aided a continued decrease in how many of these types of cases are filed against minors statewide. Perhaps Dillingham didn't get the message. An investigation by the State Attorney General's office attempted to determine whether Dillingham and her associates entered the homes illegally. It was later declined for prosecution. Reached by phone, Dillingham, who serves as the head of the Karnes City Independent School District Education Fund, called her relationship with the district complicated after agreeing to meet with KSAT Investigates for the story. Dillingham subsequently canceled and was out of town at a conference when we came to her office.
Can we ask you a few questions?
We caught up with her weeks later as she left work.
Very nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well.
After exchanging pleasantries, Dillingham said the home visits were authorized, but wouldn't elaborate.
Mr. Collier, I'm just a public servant working hard as the county attorney, so I appreciate your time very
You're a
much.
county attorney who has overstepped your boundaries. You're not a law enforcement officer. So why are you going to parents' homes?
I didn't present to me. Have a wonderful day.
And there's more. The Karnes City Junior High principal who accompanied Dillingham on some of those visits confirms the county attorney copy-edited this written exit letter last summer after the principal resigned. In it, the departing school administrator repeatedly called out Superintendent Hector Madrigal by name, questioning his professional demeanor and ethics, and that he uses bully tactics. We could find no record that Madrigal has been implicated in any ethics violations or other professional misconduct. Additionally, emails sent from Dillingham's official county account show her questioning the superintendent about whether he properly investigated incidents at the high school, and as recently as December, instructed him what to do next if the allegations were true. For Andreessen, the power play shows that Dillingham is way out of her lane.
Based on what you've read, does Dillingham have the right mentality to be a state district judge?
I don't think that she has the judgment to be a district judge. Somebody that has, taken a little bit of power from the county attorney and tried to sort of play kingmaker, and that independent school district has sort of tried to prosecute children and their parents for difficulties during COVID-19 with school attendance and logging on to schools, is not somebody that has the temperament to be a district judge, in my humble opinion.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Mr. Madrigal declined a request to be interviewed for this story.
But if he did want to be interviewed, we would hear the other side of the story. Now, common sense should tell you, hey, there's changes here. We don't need to go back to 2003. Exactly. We don't need to go back to 2003. 2003 was kids would be arrested, parents would be arrested, kids would be foster care, this and this. That's way back. I believe she stepped out of line for her case. So that's basic common sense being raised. Also, I believe she's unfit to be a judge because she didn't know. Study the law, study the House bill, and saying to yourself, you know what, we're making a big mistake here. We shouldn't be doing this. It's illegal to do this without warrant. That person should have been sued or being left off, being removed. The principal resigned, good. But the superintendent, we don't know. He came on and told the whole side of the story. We know. We know who. That's it for Give Me a Break Wednesday. That's it for our back to school month. Back to school month for day one. We're back again next Wednesday, and we'll see you again for Throwback Thursday. For everyone here at YouTube, have a good day.